Welcome, welcome. Stone Fruit Roll Up Pride Edition. This is the weekly show about making the show that you're watching right now, Thursdays on YouTube and also on LinkedIn. This is the place that we're wildly experimental and having quality conversations week after week, sometimes with guests, sometimes on a Write With Me, sometimes on a solo show. We are doing the thing. I'm really excited about our summer lineup because we have some really fun shows with people who are extremely passionate about what they're passionate about. And today is no exception. I was thrilled to schedule this Pride edition with my very own kid, Saturn Gunter, who is extremely passionate about inclusive branding and how people are representing for and with the queer community. And we're going to hear all about Saturn's opinions and observations of the world. I love Gen Z, man. It's no secret. I'm really into their incredibly fresh perspective and the deconstruction of a bunch of societal norms and expectations that don't serve hardly anybody. And Gen Z is just an incredible representation of what happens when people kind of say, nope, we're not doing it that way anymore. We're doing it our way. And so, without much further ado, I'd like to bring to the Stonefruit Roll Up stage, after an extensive hashtag campaign to bring Saturn on board, Saturn for Roll Up. Welcome, Saturn. Womp, 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 womp. You're live on the internet. You're live on the internet, my darling.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. We've got comments coming in already from Jilly. Jilly is here from merry old England, and the welcome, welcome, welcome was an homage to her own podcast, Heads Together, which you should definitely like and subscribe to on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome, Jilly. Tony sent me a text message and said that the live chat isn't enabled, and I hope we fix that one in the very
I also noticed that. And we fixed that, so
I think this is a good time to remind folks of why they're watching the show that you're watching that we're making right now, because I am not a live stream producer. You need somebody really professional. So I am learning as we go along, and it seems like if you click on YouTube that this video is made for kids, then the live chat turns off. And we had this problem last week with Tony, and I hope to have fixed it.
No. So YouTube for kids is like YouTube for babies, basically. They don't let you watch in picture by picture. You can't comment anything. So don't click for kids. That's just make sure your content can show up on YouTube Kids, which I don't think, because I don't think toddlers are watching your show.
Oh my God. First of all, I think that's exclusive, not inclusive. You don't know what kind of preschoolers are learning about branding.
I don't think a toddler is interested in this, okay?
Well, let's not exclude anyone from our audience and assume that everyone is interested.
I'm exclusive to toddlers.
But that is my bad. For the folks at home who are running a live show, just kind of by the seat of their pants, don't click it's for kids or you won't get comments. But we fixed it right away, and now we're ripe for comments for anybody who wants to come in to give your little pitch for people coming into the comments. What is it you want them to know?
All right, so we're talking about examples of inclusive branding and what is called rainbow washing, which is similar to pink and green washing, where you slap a rainbow on something and call it Pride merch and then only sell it during June and then pretend the LGBT community doesn't exist the rest of the year. And then later in the stream, I'll answer a bunch of questions. You could be either too shy to ask your own kids, you don't know who to ask or where to ask, or if this is inappropriate to ask someone that, like, if it's a question about the LGBT community, I will try my darndest to answer it, because there are a lot of people who don't know if they can ask questions and are afraid to ask, and I'm here to give them an answer.
That is exciting setup of the episode, and our friend Tony is going to be really happy that we let the folks know at home what's coming up. But before we get into that deepness, Saturn, introduce yourself. Tell the folks at home who you are and what you're all about.
My name's Saturn. I am a 15-year-old trans child. I identify as man-loving man or gay. Um, I've been out as trans for maybe 4 years. I've been under the trans umbrella. I know a good amount. I am autistic. And LGBT is one of my special interests. I know a lot about the flags. I can answer any questions anyone would have about what seems an arbitrary concept, but really isn't, of neo and xeno pronouns, which have been used throughout Shakespearean work, I believe. But I'll have to pull up examples for that because I don't have any with me right now. And I try my darndest to answer questions with backed up research, and I have a good amount of stuff to show and tell today because I've heard we don't have a lot of show and tell, and some people are wanting for it.
We're going to experiment for sure with more show and tell. Less tell me, more show me. And I'm so glad that you've got some visual aids for us. That's going to be a fantastic addition to the show. Is there anything else you want the folks to know about who you are as a person?
I have tried to be an open resource for people. If they have a question about the LGBT community, I've always been there to kind of answer. My parents both needed a lot of answers, and I was always there. I tried my darndest to give it to them. When I first came out, they didn't fully understand what I meant, and they didn't fully get it yet. And now my parents understand more than ever what it is and how to handle it. And let's see, is there anything
What's one piece of advice you would give to other parents out there who have a kid come out to them? How can future parents do a little bit better than yours did?
Don't push against name changes or asks that you use a different set of pronouns, because that will make your child not want to come out of other people because they'll fear the same thing happens. And if your child comes up to you and says, well, I don't feel comfortable using this name, and I'd feel more comfortable using, let's say, Jason, you would be like, you should go like, oh, well, all right, Jason, I might struggle calling you Jason, but I will try. And it's important that you consistently affirm your child's identity and check in with them, because if you're like struggling, you should ask your child questions, but at the same time, you want your kid to feel safe, and you don't want with you and ask you questions. So you'll have to let them, identify themselves at some point.
I think this is around the idea that kids are not just proto-humans or future adults, that they're their own person and their own individual. And even when it's like a real record scratch in terms of how you understand your relationship and the world and your kids' relationship to the world, I think listening is the very best thing that a person can do, a parent can do, and a person can do. I've heard this interesting definition of transness I want to share with you. Right. And that is when a person does not agree with the gender they were assigned at birth.
Yeah.
How does that resonate or land with you? And
I agree with that. It's a gender is a spectrum and also a social construct at the same time. I identify as a masculine leaning gender. Means it's basically if you don't feel comfortable in the gender identity you were assigned, and you don't agree with it, then good for you. I mean, in all seriousness, discover yourself. I would say I don't know how to word it. I'd say we've taken a few steps backward. For every step forward we take with the LGBT community, we definitely take a few backward.
That is the cross you bear as a marginalized population. That
Yeah.
one step forward and two steps back, but you are still making
Progress.
you are still making one step forward.
Yeah.
And you really are changing the world.
We have sorry.
No, it's okay. No, after you, Saturn, this is your platform.
We as modern day LGBT people definitely have more resources and the ability to be more open now than people did 20 years ago. If we don't push though, we won't get what we want.
That's an awesome question, Saturn. I'm going to stop you right there. What do you want?
Rights. I want to live without fear of losing my rights. I want to be able to be publicly open and have health care as a trans person. I don't want to be afraid that I don't want to be afraid of people. I want to be safe. That's what I want.
And seen, I think.
Yeah, I want to be safe, I want to be seen, and I want to be heard.
Well, what a setup, baby, because you're going to be safe, seen, and heard here. Let's get into it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that we've got some people in the comments. As you know, Jill is here from merry old England, and our girl Kathleen is here. Do you remember when we got all the Canadian snacks?
Yes.
Hi, Kathleen. And it was all the different kinds of crisps, etc.
No. Here's the thing I appreciate. Thank you for the bagels, Kathleen. That was the best part.
This is the bagels really rocked your socks. So Kathleen is coming in from Canada.
I love bagels.
I know. And your boy Tony is here from Silver Spring, who doesn't know where the wall ends and your hair begins. So
well, I mean, you see the blue a little bit more. The green's kind of fading out.
Jill is appreciating to live without fear, without losing your rights. Hell yeah, Saturn. Safe, seen, and heard.
Jill has said some really cute things in the comments that I've seen. I have the comments open in my little tab here. So I definitely will answer some before they pop up there, but you know.
I'll do my best as show producer. And you're going to try your hand at producing this show over the summer. Is that right?
I will.
Saturn for roll up. That's going to be great.
I've been begging.
All right. So let's get into it. The title of your episode is Inclusive Branding. What does that mean to you? And acknowledging that you grew up, immersed in marketing and branding as you were my kid. So you've been exposed to it your whole life.
Donating, recognizing the community year round.
This is inclusive branding. That's what you're defining right now, correct?
Yes. Not slapping a rainbow on something and charging extra for it because it's Pride Month. Oh, that reminds me of something. Give me a moment.
Are you going to do some show and tell?
I am. I'm actually Glasses Company's Pride collection.
Let's see it. Let's see some examples of inclusive branding.
I will pull up the Funko Pops, which are inclusive. Nope, that's not what I want. Here we go. Pride for Purpose, which was Funko's 2022 collection. They released a bunch of Funko Pops that are rainbow and collaborated with the It Gets Better project.
Why is the
And
collaboration part valid to you? Why does that
because
matter?
because the It Gets Better project is let's see. Sorry. um they mention how they fully support the LGBT community, and they donated to the It Gets Better project, an organization that, in their words, uplifts, empowers, and connects LGBT youth around the globe. They especially went for two characters who have been shown to have a woman loving woman relationship throughout a lot of their media, which I appreciate: Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
Why does that matter to you that you're seeing fully realized storylines around gay love?
Because we deserve media centered around us as well. And I've seen a lot of media with straight romances. And then there's like one gay romance off to the side. There's this one book series I read that I will not mention the name of that had a gay couple that was very prominent in the books and the show. And they had like one story about them in a spin-off. And like they got married, but like that was about it. And like, sorry, I'm using like a lot. Their gayness wasn't really a main plot of the story, except for one of them was like definitely his gayness was a part of his story, which I appreciate, I suppose. But you're exactly right there, Jill. I'm cutting myself off. Supporting a project rather than simply leveraging the power definitely is better, because if you are giving and understanding that a community exists year round, and consistently showing that you know they're there, and not just like putting a rainbow on something during Pride months to pretend you support, is really important.
So I think that this really brings up one of the things I love about Gen Z. And I don't know if it's the result of just like, the constant like global trauma that your generation endures between pandemic and civil unrest and politics and all the things, is that your bullshit meter seems to be extremely refined. So what
Oh,
I'm
I
hearing,
have a bullshit. I have a bullshit meter, and I can. No, I don't have a bullshit meter. I have a bullshit detector.
a bullshit detector. Your bullshit detector is like so refined. And that's what I'm hearing
Bullshit.
here.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
That's what I'm hearing from you, is that, some people are doing it where it's so clearly bullshit, and some people are doing it where it's so clearly genuine or authentic. And what I'm hearing is that the genuine and authentic side is a year-round commitment, is real representation, is collaboration with people who are doing things for good and for social change. Tell us more about what makes something genuine.
There is a game that has a largely anti-LGBT fan base, which can be frustrating, but they have now three, which is lame considering they have like, I'm gonna say like 30 characters. 1 second. They have about 37 characters in the main storyline, and only 3 of them have been confirmed as LGBT peoples. One is a lesbian who's married, one is a gay man, and one is a lesbian. And they have a Pride event going on currently, and it's unavailable in one country, but they did that all right. But if they had included it a little bit more, and I don't know, for 3 characters out of 37, it's like you could have done a little bit more to be a bit more inclusive to the community. And they have a large base of um 2 of the characters have prosthetics, and they have a pretty diverse racially set up for their characters, but that's good, except there's nothing kind of there for LGBT people that gets recognized by the community around it.
Why is this so important to you that you see yourself in media or universes or worlds?
Because people deserve to be able to see themselves. Full stop. There is a photo set somewhere around the internet of role swapping with race. And it's one of the ones that sticks out most to me is a little white girl standing in a doll aisle filled with, and it's all the dolls are black Barbie dolls. And
yeah,
good.
it's a total paradigm. Complete,
Yeah, you see
like,
it.
mm-hmm.
And that's really, girls, all people should be able to see themselves in media they consume. TV, movie, books, games, politics.
You have a very interesting solution. You're like a true entrepreneur, Saturn Tay. You found, you saw a real disconnect in the world, a real like niche opportunity that no one was filling. Do you want to tell the Stone Fruit Roll Up audience at home about your solution to a lack of representation in books and
Are
storytelling and
are we
universe
talking
building?
about my really big project?
I believe we are.
Okay. I have been working on a book and dating sim combination called World Academy and Academy of the Lost, where all of the characters are uniquely diverse. There are 2 characters from each country around the world.
Can I stop you for just a second and
Yeah.
make sure that everyone understands that this is not a universe that currently exists that you're playing in, but
It's
that you are
It's a work in
you are
progress.
that you personally, Saturn Gunter, are creating world building and creating characters, and they are around this idea. So I just want to make sure that folks at home understand that this is an original. You're solving a problem that
All
you're
original
articulating.
content.
Okay, go ahead now.
Every piece of this has come out of my little brain. And the concept of it, Academy of the Lost is a companion novel. It's different. It follows 2 characters who also show up in World Academy, twin brothers, Alexander and Tobias, who both have struggled with situations that are damaging and force one to really kind of recognize life. They are both gay. Tobias is a trans man. And it shows, Toby specifically shows that you can be feminine and a man at the same time, which I set up there. There's a large amount of larger characters, plus sized. Almost all characters are for the dating. All of them are set up so they are open for everyone, except for a limited set of like 3 or 4 who are specifically set that way so they are them.
This is not the X Reader stuff, though, right?
No, this is a dating simulator I'm working on.
Tell us about X Readers.
X Reader is a fan fiction genre, which is fan creations for pre-made content, in which it is a character and an insert in which you can see yourself, and that is a largely woman-dominated thing. And it's large, and it's almost all women writing it for female peoples. And I've made a few friends in the community who specifically write and read for men, and they've had to deal with a lot of women invading their spaces.
So you decided, instead of being frustrated with a lack of storylines that resonate with you, you just started creating your own.
Yeah,
correct.
pretty much.
And you've gotten some commissions, and you've gotten some commissions here as well, correct?
I've had 1 commission other than yours, and that was old and very bad writing that I'm not willing to share anymore. I commission art for this universe I'm working on, though.
Well, we're anxious to see some of that. Maybe you'll give us some links in the show notes. Very, very cool project, Saturn. I'm super proud of you. And writer to writer, Wow. All right, do you have some more show and tell for us?
I do. I'm going to pull up the Urban Dictionary definition of rainbow washing.
And this is just a friendly reminder for folks at home that you're watching the Stone Fruit Roll Up. That is our weekly Thursday live show at high noon Eastern Standard Time, in which we're talking about all kinds of things related to the world around us and looking through the lens of marketing and branding sometimes. Saturn, it's all you.
So for those of us who don't want to read this whole thing, it's the Urban Dictionary definition is basically saying the act of using or adding rainbow colors or imagery to advertising, landmarks, apparel, etc., in order to indicate progressive support for the LGBT community and equality, and to gain support for it, but they don't really give a shit.
Why do you think that they don't really give a shit? How do you know?
Well, you can see that in companies such as Target, which I have their official statement for pulling down their Pride merchandise up currently. And it used to be that companies on June 1st would change their logo to be rainbow every year. They have not done that this year.
Target hasn't, or companies have not?
Companies. A lot of big companies. I can pull up and share the official Oreo Twitter account here.
Yeah, let's see it.
In which you can see they have not changed their icon. It is just the normal Oreo cookie. I believe once it was the Oreo word rainbow. They have done one Pride post in which they retweeted something from PFLAG National, talking about Pride Month, and they just said Happy Pride Month. And then what the fuck? I don't know what's going on here. Basically, a large amount of other companies, such as Walmart, Swedish Fish, and other candy companies have not done it as well. If I can get this to load, that'd be great. You can see here, nothing. McDonald's is stuck on the grimace, but whatever.
So can you show us somebody who's doing it right?
Let's see. I have someone pulled up somewhere.
And also, let's talk about the Target thing, because Target used to be one of the most approachable, inclusive brands and Pride Month and beyond. What's happening?
They were harassed by conservative peoples, and they took their Pride merchandise down due to, and this is coming from their official statement.
You have that official statement for us to look at, right?
I do.
Let's show and tell.
They basically say they've been harassed, and their team members no longer feel safe with their Pride Month merch being there, and conservative harassment.
How does that make you feel?
It frustrates me that a major corporation such as Target, which is, how much does Target make? How much is Target worth? How much? Target makes $1.7 billion a year.
And
they cannot handle basic backlash from conservative people that don't really fucking matter. This isn't their month. It's our month, and we deserve a tiny bit of...
This isn't their month.
We deserve a tiny bit of representation from a multi-billion-dollar company. But we can't get it now because they're so pissed off.
What would you say to people who would say, well, vote with your dollars, don't shop at Target anymore?
Yeah, don't shop at Target. But also, those of us who live in America live in a country where it's so hard to get anything else from anywhere. And that might be the case in other places. I don't know. It can be so hard. Local businesses have to up their prices really high to compete with big businesses and make money for their buildings and their employees and other things like that. It's important to understand that local businesses' prices are so high because they can't compete with big box businesses like that.
That's been the pushback for 30 years. There's been, we kind of personify it with nobody wants a Walmart and everybody wants a Walmart at the same time.
Yeah.
It's definitely the conundrum of the a modern day America, shall we say.
But I do have an example of a high quality.
I can't wait to see it. Let's punch up, baby. Let's punch up. Show us somebody who's doing it right.
Spencer's, most commonly known for sex toys. They sell pride flags and pride merch year round. I have purchased a trans flag there, and you have seen that in the thumbnail there is a rainbow flag I am holding. That was also purchased at a Spencer's. This exact Spencer's, actually. And they are selling pride merchandise, which is incredible, and they do it year round, and they don't they charge they sell their pride merchandise for the exact same price they sell their other merchandise. Like, they'll sell a weed fan, pardon me, for the exact same price as a pride flag fan. And it's good because you're not upcharging for a rainbow.
And does Spencer's also check your other boxes of collaboration and social change?
I haven't seen anything about that, but I mean, it's fucking Spencer's, dude. Like, they're not a big conservative box store. They sell piercings and sex toys and
people used to think Target was kind of a maverick brand. That's where the cool people went.
Well, I mean, like, I haven't seen anything that bad about Spencer's, so.
Yeah, but it's not checking your boxes.
Here's another example that we saw in the mall. This is from the Container Store, and if you scan that, they talk about they're donating $15,000 to a nonprofit that I cannot remember the name of for the life of me. But it's such a small thing. They don't really show it anywhere. It's like, oh, let's just cover our bases here. The fact that they're donating is a good thing. I'm going to cut myself off in like 5 minutes so we can move to the questions and answers part. Pardon me. It's so small, I didn't notice it when I first walked in the store. You had
yeah, I did point it out to you for sure. So, in your opinion, branding is inclusive if it isn't limited to just June, if it has, if it's not overpriced, if there is a collaborative partnership, or there's an element for social change, as long as at least one of those boxes is checked.
All of the boxes. They all.
Well, Spencer's doesn't do the last two though, and you are celebrating it.
Almost all boxes have to be checked there.
How many do you think? 2 out of 3? 2 out of 4? Half? 3?
2 out of 4 minimum.
Okay. Do you have any other examples of people doing it right?
I don't have any on me, but I did notice last year Oreo posted an anti-conversion therapy ad, which I could not find looking for it. They might
Maybe
have taken it down.
We'll put it in this. We'll put it in the show notes.
I'll find a link for it. I'll find a link for something similar in the show notes, and I'll put it there when I write that.
When you write the show notes, because you write the show notes now.
I do write the show notes. I need to get on that when we get off here. And it's this prop. I don't know where I was going.
We were just talking about how many of the boxes out of 4 do you have to check in order to be considered inclusive.
And then I said 2 out of 4, and then
at least half of those, you said.
Yes. And then I went to Oreo.
Oh yeah, you went to Oreo. That's okay. That's okay.
I'm gonna shut down that segment now.
Well, before you do, Could you look in the camera and give brands some advice from
If
an
you
insider?
want to not be seen as bullshitting your way through Pride Month, as some of these brands I've mentioned so far are, you should be collaborating with LGBT people to help you figure out what you need to be doing. You should be listening to advice they give you, and you should listen to your community. And if you can, donate to organizations like the Trevor Project, which is one of the largest LGBT charities out there, and other such things. You should be proving yourself to be an inclusive company or brand, and not someone who's bullshitting your way through these kind of situations.
And if you were CEO of the world, what would you do?
There's a lot of things I would do. Probably. I don't know. Thank you for putting the Trevor Project link in there. That is
You
good.
are absolutely one. Okay, so you are CEO of the world, and you are setting the tone for how people market and brand themselves.
Selling fiber, at least 75% of your profit. If you are a big business, 75, and if you're a small business, about 50% of your profit from that Pride merch to an LGBT organization, specifically one of an approved list.
Who approves the list?
LGBT people. If you run a nonprofit, you can come to me and be like, "Hey, I'd like my nonprofit to be approved by you," and I'll be like, "Okay, well, I need a background and bullshit like that."
Okay, well, I love how you're CEO of the world. Is there anything else you want business or brands to know or understand about how to truly be inclusive and not just be borrowing relevance for your own personal gain?
Don't be a target. Stick up for yourself. If you are a small business and are receiving harassments from conservative activists on social media, report them and stick up for yourself. You are not a toddler. You can handle this. You can you will survive a little bit of conservative hate, because in the end they are just a tiny little ant yelling in your ear, and you are super awesome.
Hey, that's a message for the ages. I love that. Thank you for schooling us today, Saturn. Are you ready for some questions?
I am ready for questions. I don't have any set up, so.
Okay, well, I'll start with the first one. You
Okay.
have been describing your community as LBT.
LGBT.
LGBT. I have not heard the I or the Q that I generally hear when I hear people give me
I
this
am
string
using
of letters.
LGBT to shorten it. It's LGBTQIA plus in the full LGBT. It's LGBTQ, that from what I've seen, plus, but IA probably stand for intersex and asexual or
Yep.
aromantic, which
Yep.
I haven't been using those the entire time, not because I pretend they don't exist, but because I don't want to waste waste extra time finalizing the acronym. And you know what I mean when I say LGBT.
So you don't want to be inclusive on your own show about inclusivity?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, I would better I don't know, I'd stumble over it a lot too.
What does the Q stand for?
Queer.
I thought it stood for queer, but in my day it stood for questioning.
Queer or questioning.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the word queer. This is one of those words that are kind of a power word that gets taken back.
Queer is an identity some people use for themselves. I can pull up the flag, actually.
Oh, that's fun. You're passionate about the flags.
Oh, I'm very. Queer pride is not rainbow. It is those who like the label but don't want to be put inside the box.
or at
a
least
single
want
identity.
to other themselves from like cis het.
This is the queer flag.
What do you love about this flag?
I don't.
Oh,
It's a lot of colors. It's a lot of lines. It'd be difficult to put on something. It's bright. It's in your face, and I like that about some flags, but this I do not.
show us the flag. Show us 2 or 3 flags you absolutely love and why.
Okay. Don't want the rainbow.
And then I have another question from the audience.
Okay. I'm gonna share this image because this is such a good image. Okay. Share this time set. This I love the lesbian and gay flags. I think that's not the right lesbian flag. I think. I'm pretty sure that's not the right lesbian flag. It's not. That is not the right lesbian flag. That is the lipstick lesbian flag, which is no longer used because it is exclusive to trans lesbians and non-feminine lesbians. This is the proper lesbian flag.
That's pretty.
It's gorgeous. It is called the sunset flag also, and the gay flag is the toothpaste flag.
We have the toothpaste.
Who are two of my LGBTQ heroes, and why do they mean so much to you?
Probably has the best questions.
I know, it's so great. I forgot her name. But she was a black trans sex worker, and she was, I completely blanked on her name, but she's a very important LGBT icon. She was at Stonewall. She threw a rock at a cop, which like massive slay. I'll see if I can find her name. I think it's Marsha.
Yeah, it's You're right. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, Marsha P. Johnson.
That's exactly right.
And she was wonderful. Another one of my LGBT icons. That's hard. I don't know.
That's an excellent question. Here is for folks at home who might be interested in learning a little bit more about Marsha P. Washington.
Johnson?
Right? What did I say?
You said Washington.
Oops. Sorry, everybody. That's what I get for trying to. I'm thinking I'm trying to share the screen at the same time. There we go.
There she is. I love those flowers.
Yeah, reminiscent of Billie Holiday, I think. Those gardenias or magnolias, maybe. That's okay. Let's move on to another question. I want to talk a little bit. Go ahead. Did you have one?
Anthony from Queer Eye.
Anthony from Queer Eye. Why is he a personal hero?
I can't explain it the way he feels so confident in the kitchen. And I believe it was him. They did a church renovation. And I believe he had been kicked out of his church when he was young.
That's actually Bobby who was.
It was Bobby. Bobby's also cool. I like how Anthony is just so confident in himself.
And that makes him a hero to you.
Yeah.
For folks who don't know who is Anthony?
Anthony is one of the Fab Five on a Netflix show called Queer Eye, or Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, in which 5 LGBT men or people come into someone's house and it's wrecked. Their life is hard. They can't pull themselves back on their feet, and they help them clean up and refit and fix up their house, teach them how to cook properly. There we go. Karamo. Their names are Tan, is the one in the pink. Karamo, Anthony, Jonathan Van Ness, and Bonnie. I think I
And
got
why are these guys heroes to you?
They are so confident in their identity and who they are and how they handle themselves and it's incredible the way they do it.
What makes it incredible?
I don't know how to describe it.
I think that this is really Queer Eye, and the characters represented there are truly the embodiment of inclusive branding. The way that they're able to move throughout their professional and personal spaces, being genuinely, authentically who they are without anything. It just feels so genuine. And I think that the reason that these guys are a hero to you is because that this is the end result, this personal freedom, this inescapable joy. I mean, they're so magnetic because there's the love they have for themselves, and their self-belief is just absolutely magnetic and contagious. And when queer people are represented in a healthy and contributive way that honors their history and who they are, and I would say we are because I represent the B side, then you can live your best life and not feel unsafe and unseen. So I can see why these guys are heroes for many people, including yourself.
You're so real for that, Tony. Jonathan Van Ness, DJ Gorgeous flowing here.
Indeed. Jonathan Van Ness, non-binary identity for sure. Awesome.
Sorry, I apparently John is watching. So
apparently John is watching. Woot woot.
Now I feel more pressure.
Shout out to John in the comments and in the audience.
I don't know where John is. He just hasn't commented. Maybe he's just watching for watching. You know what? Slay, John. Slay.
Watching for watching. Slay indeed.
We will see him on Saturday, though. Hopefully.
Where will we see? Where could we potentially see John on Saturday?
DC Pride.
DC Pride, absolutely. Are you excited? This is your first Pride festival.
I'm scared.
Is that right?
I'm scared and I'm excited at the same time.
Why are you scared?
I don't know. I just am nervous. I haven't seen the person we're going with for a while. And I'm nervous to see them.
Well, let's think about Pride. What would seeing a bunch of happy, self-expressed, authentic, genuine, self-believing queer people mean to you?
I'm very excited to see DC Pride for the first time and be there to I don't know.
You had another milestone this year. You want to share a little bit about your birthday experience? What happened on your birthday this year?
I went to a drag brunch. Let me see if I can pull up some pictures.
Yes, let's see a picture of your very first drag brunch. What was that like?
I knew one of the queens there. It was very fun.
Why was it fun?
I felt very in my community there.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Yay! I can't wait for the folks
I don't have
any
pictures of me.
I do. That's why I offered earlier to send you pictures of you.
A picture of me.
All right. Well, while we're here, we have another question from the audience, and that was at the top. Yeah, at the top of the show, you had mentioned neopronouns, and I thought you'd like to talk a little bit about what those are and the whole pronoun thing. You've got your pronouns listed here as it and he, and I know you've gotten a lot of pushback on the it, so this isn't the forum for should we, shouldn't we, but folks at home definitely want to know what that's all about.
So a neopronoun or a xenopronoun is most commonly made fun of, such as pronouns such as cat, self, in which autistic and other people have found pronouns such as, let me pull up my pronouns actually, because I have a list of pronouns that are not just it and he. I have a full thing of them. I have them listed and I can pull one up. Give me a moment. I need to. Okay. Beep. Pronoun. Here we go. There are pronouns. It itself is a great example there, in which it is not a traditional pronoun, but it is something someone still prefers to be referred to because it's how they feel comfortable. There's a lot of them. Let me find one of my more conventional. Oh, this is actually covered in a Futurama episode. A beast with 1,000 or a million backs, in which they did not use traditional pronouns such as she and her. They used shkli and shkler. And
so is your point that it's all made up anyway?
Pronouns are made the fuck up. Use whatever you want. It doesn't matter. If someone doesn't like it, guess what? Their opinion doesn't fucking matter. If you don't have something nice to say to someone, don't say it. Or, here's another thing. You can get told to shove your rude opinion up your ass. Take your pick.
Okay, well, thank you for that soapbox. But how would somebody feel comfortable using it and its when traditionally that's been dehumanizing or like what are some of the new what are some of the new ones out? What are some of the new pronouns out there on the market today?
Zeezer, which some people feel more comfortable with. Also Z them, which is with an X, not a Z. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
That's pretty common, actually. That's one of the more
is. And that's
familiar
great
ones.
that neopronouns are more public information now and more popular. I have a whole list of them. I can share my list.
Also, I sent you your drag picture, so you can share that as well in our remaining 7 minutes.
Oh my god. Okay. The drag pictures. Here they are, the Z-Zim ones.
Read them out loud.
Give me a second. I am pulling this.
Tony calls these your pronouns.
They are my pronouns. You're so right, Tony. They're my pronouns.
You're also maybe driving the sound engineer a little crazy where you're thunking around on the microphone.
Sorry. I'm pulling up the friggin' pride pictures. I'm pulling up the photos. Okay. So, the Z-Zim is here. And people use all sorts of pronouns. I have been introduced to them. Nick's Self is pretty fun. I like those. Zazer without talking. What? What does this say, Tony? Oh.
That's a letter Kenny reference. So you have to be a fan of letter Kenny to know that one.
Joke for Tony. Why do camels not eat clowns? Because they.
Why do camels not eat what?
Clowns. Because they taste funny.
Ba-dum-bum. Let's see your drag pictures in your final 5 minutes.
Oh my god, okay, drag pictures. Here, I forgot this queen's name, but she was incredible.
Yeah, she was really cool, right?
Yeah, and then here is the queen I knew. No, maybe? Yes.
Yep, that's right. Her name is Tula.
And I had a very fun time being there.
Yeah.
You can tell by my smile.
Indeed.
During the drag brunch, those of us who were there for our birthdays got to get up and lip sync and collect tips. And I made like $50.
And remember how you didn't even want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can thank Tracy gave you some encouragement. Tracy sees you for who you are. Your hair is Tracified.
It is.
Yeah, shout out to Tracy. Shout out to Tracy McGuire for sure. Saturn, what else? We're closing. We're coming to the end of our episode today. Where can people find you on social media, or are you on social media?
I'm on Instagram under the tag Everyday Bears because I used to post bears every day, and I've been in hibernation. I will be coming out of hibernation very soon to post some grizzlies. Let's see.
That sounds great. Is there anything you want to, any other place you want people to see or you want to promote?
I don't know.
That's okay. What's one call to action you want people to know off of this episode?
Support LGBT charities if you're making money with Pride merch.
Because even if you're not,
support LGBTQ charities.
What would you like your next roll up to be?
The benefits of untraditional schooling.
The benefits of untraditional schooling. Give us a little sneak peek. What's one benefit you can think of right now?
I am very happy where I am.
That's the only benefit I need to hear. That's the only benefit I need to hear as a mama. Did you have fun on the roll up today?
I did. I'm still gonna campaign for a new roll up though.
Saturn for roll up.
You
That's
will
not hashtag
campaign.
Saturn for roll up. That's your hashtag. Let's get some shirts made. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I want a hoodie. I want a Saturn for roll up hoodie.
I agree. Maybe if you produce 100 shows, we'll get you Saturn for roll up hoodies.
What?
Okay. Too high of a ceiling?
Yeah.
20. Okay.
25.
All right, Saturn Tay. I'm going to put you backstage while I walk our audience out. Thank you for being you. I think this was a wonderful episode.
Thank you for having me.
Say goodbye to the folks.
Bye-bye, y'all.
All right, everybody. What a cool episode of Stone Fruit Roll Up Pride Edition, inclusive branding in the age of rainbow wash with my own kid, Saturn Gunter, who schooled us on folks who are doing it right and folks who ain't getting it right, answered a bunch of questions, did an awesome Ask Me Anything segment and some fabulous show and tell. You can see more episodes of Stone Fruit Roll Up on YouTube, also at stonefruitrollup.com. And we will see you here next week for our special, extraordinary Juneteenth episode next Thursday at high noon. All right, LinkedIn and YouTube fam.